everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Welcome to today's Lunch Lesson Live. Today we are talking about Instagram tricks. So I'm so glad you're here. We are going to talk all about how to grow your Instagram account and how to make that account work for you by getting actual leads into your system. So we'll definitely be talking all about that. So stick around. So let me know if you are on the live or on the replay. Let me know in the comments below. Just say live or replay. So today we're talking about Instagram tricks. I wanted to take just a minute to thank everybody who voted. You can vote. I do a poll every week on Tuesdays, so you can vote on the topic that we talk about. Just let me know, or you can always suggest some topics in the comments below. Or you can send me a message as well. If there's something that has been coming up for you in your business where you just feel like you have questions or you just feel like you need a little help through, let's talk about those topics, right? I want to know what's coming up for you and where your struggles are with your business. So feel free to suggest any topics, and thank you to everyone for voting. You can vote in that poll or suggest it in the poll as well every Tuesday. All right, so this video is for coaches. This video is for if you have an Instagram account or don't have an Instagram account and think that you might need one, this is for you. If you are a mompreneur or a business owner wondering how to make Instagram work for you, this is definitely the video. So stick around. We're definitely going to talk about, I'm going to share 4 kind of tricks to Instagram that I think are helpful to hopefully get you some more eyeballs to your business. That's the goal, right? And eventually leads and eventually sales. That's our goal. All right, so I always like to talk about our abundant mindset, right? If you are kind of struggling or feel like you have a lot of self-talk or self-doubt, I always encourage you to just really think about what does that abundant mindset look for you? I feel like it's so easy for us to be like, yes, I have an abundant mindset. Yes, I'm hopeful, that kind of thing. But every day, right? I feel like it takes a little bit of that focus every single day because we have ups and downs, right? You're going to have good days, bad days, hot motivation, less motivation, right? Every day is a little bit different. So it's always good to have some of those tools in your toolbox to help you get through some of those self-doubt days, right? And I really think that's where abundant mindset comes in, is to just be assured that you have the power inside you, right? I know that still sounds a little woo-woo, right? But I feel like we really need that talk every day to really tell ourselves that you can do it, right? That our dreams are possible and you can definitely do it. I do think sometimes it takes us being willing to grow, right? Being willing to change. There's that, quote everybody says, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same or expecting different results, right? But if you do the same thing over and over, you're probably going to get the same results, right? So definitely, if you think about being in an abundant mindset and you still feel stuck, that might be the time to take a little bit of a risk, right? I just read a great quote. If you're in our book club, right, definitely say book club below. I heard a quote from the book that we're reading, 4-Hour Work Week, which is an interesting concept, right? But a quote today was, risk is so much less scary once you take it, right? But that's really the hard part is taking that risk. So definitely, if you're feeling like you need a little help with your mindset or you're feeling stuck in your business, feel free to tell me in the comments, right, how you're feeling with your business, or if you feel like risk is a hard part of your business. Or a hard part of your mindset, right, is pushing yourself kind of out of your comfort zone. It's always scary, right? I think every business owner, and it's not something that you do once, right? It's something that you do day in and day out, taking more risk, making those decisions, right? And I often say, if you're struggling at the very beginning to make a decision just to start something new or invest in your business, you're going to have even more decisions to make, right? So that first decision, if you're kind of stuck on that first decision, there are so many more decisions waiting for you after that, right? So you've really got to push yourself to make decisions and make progress. It can be messy, right? Obviously. And I love that idea of messy action, right? So that's what we're here for. We're here to grow. I hope that these videos are helpful. Again, tell me where you're at with your Instagram account or any of the videos that I've shared. I'd love to hear. All right, so if you're new here, my name is Christina. I'm a business coach and I love helping business owners get unstuck, right? I love setting up a strategy, helping you make sure that you're getting results, because there is nothing worse than posting forever and getting nothing, right? That is like, that's the worst. And I was there for so many years, right? We're told we should post. And here's the frustrating part, right? For me is that, so I started my first little Etsy shop way back in 2010, right? And I quickly saw that, okay, I can't just make my listings and build an Etsy shop and hope that people will come, right? Etsy is huge. The internet is ginormous, right? You can't just build it and hope that they will come, right? That is the struggle. Then fast forward to 2014, you hear me talk about the bike shop a lot. My husband and I started a little bike shop, coffee shop here in Florida, and it was awesome, right? We loved getting to know our community. We loved bikes. We loved coffee. It was great. But again, we hit that. I was kind of smacked in the face with that. You can't just build it and people will come, right? We set up this gorgeous bike shop, bought all the bikes, bought all the coffee supplies. And people, right? I needed people in the door and they weren't just automatically coming. So I needed a marketing plan. I needed a strategy. Of course, this was 2014, so we were heavy into Facebook already and even Instagram. And again, I quickly learned posting is not enough, right? You can't just post and hope that people will see it, right? Unfortunately, if you're waiting for customers to come to you, it's never gonna happen. That's scary, right? As a business owner, because we feel like that's the only thing that we have control over. And I'm here to tell you, it has taken me this many years, right? It's taken me over a decade to really discover it takes a bit more. You cannot just post and hope. Posting is important, right? You still have to have profiles in this day and age. As a business owner, we have to have Facebook and Instagram and, whatever, all the things, wherever your customer is, wherever your target audience is, definitely you probably want to have a presence there. But it takes more than just posting, right? You want to post so that you have almost like a place mark, right? A placeholder so that they know you're there and that you can capture an audience and tell a little bit about your business. But I guarantee nobody is seeing all of your posts. So it makes sense to you, right? Because you're posting about this and then you're posting about this and everything's connected and you see the whole picture because it's your business, obviously, right? But your customers are not getting it, right? They don't get the full picture. They're not even seeing all of your posts. You could have over 1,000 followers on any account and you might not even get one person that sees your post, right? How frustrating is that? I've been there, right? And I've helped a lot of businesses through this. And what has always come back to me, right, from the bike shop, even with my Etsy shop, right, is that Facebook groups is one of the best ways to be seen, set yourself apart, and capture your audience into your system, right? You don't have to have a Facebook group, but it is by far faster and easier. If you are looking to fast forward your business and get actual results, right? Get actual leads into your business, definitely you may want to think about a Facebook group if you haven't already, right? And if you're struggling to grow that Facebook group, we were just doing our Grow Your Group Challenge last week. All the videos are still posted in the featured tab, so you can definitely still check them out. Or if you have questions, you can just let me know. That is what my program is all about. So if you're wanting to fast forward your business, or maybe you watched a couple videos and you're like, yeah, but how would that work for my particular business, right? It just takes, I think, a little bit of customized approach and a little bit of fine tuning to really make a Facebook group work for your particular business. And that's what I would love to help with, right? That's what my program is all about. So if you're interested, you can always say strategy below and I'll reach out to you. But if you have specific questions, you can always ask them below as well. So tell me in the comments, do you feel like this hits home, right? Do you feel like you've been posting and getting, crickets, they say, right? Let me know. Does this sound like you? So I would love to know, right? Where are you at with your business? Do you feel like you have just been posting and hoping, Or have you taken it kind of the step further and maybe that's where you're at? Maybe that's where now you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I turn those leads into paying customers? So we're going to talk definitely all about that. Okay, so here is for today's topic, right? We're talking about Instagram. So again, what I have found in the last 10 years is that Instagram has never been the biggest converter, right? Let me say that again. Instagram is never the biggest converter, and it's because it's just not clickable, right? You've probably noticed. Tell me if you have noticed. It is hard to get anyone to do anything, right? Tell me in the comments if you have grown your Instagram account and you still feel like nobody is seeing it, right? Tell me below. I would love to hear. So Instagram is just not clickable, right? There are two places that are clickable, and you know this, right? In the profile, link in bio, link in profile. That's the only place that is clickable. The second place that is a little bit hiding is the highlights. So that's one of the tricks that I definitely suggest. If you're not utilizing highlights in the top of your profile, that can be a really great tool, because so you can save your stories as highlights. And you've probably noticed people have little bubbles in the top of their profile. And I love this. It kind of organizes your business. So you can put different highlights, so you can label them according to whatever, suits your business. So if you wanted like a little about me section, I've seen a lot of people do that, which is really cute. You could have a start here button. You could have a coaching, offers. You could have a, hop on a call, or how to get started, or whatever you wanted to do. You could have a blog button, all of those things. What I love is that you can really organize the different categories in your business, right? You can kind of categorize what you offer, so that people can see, oh, she's got a blog, oh, she's got this offer, oh, because sometimes we offer a few different things, and sometimes it's a little bit harder for people to get that bigger picture of our business. It's makes sense to us because we're in it every day, but it's nice for people to be able to see kind of those categories. So definitely in the stories, right? You've noticed you can add a link in your story and then save it as a highlight. So that's one thing that I think is really nice. I don't know if people are honestly clicking too much in there, because again, Instagram is just not clickable and people are not used to clicking, right? As a side note, if you are at all on Pinterest, if Instagram is the least clickable, Pinterest is the most. Pinterest is the most clickable out of all the social media platforms, right? Which is crazy to think, because I feel like so many people don't utilize it. If you're trying to drive traffic to a blog, to a website, anything, right, which most of us are, a shop, whatever you've got going on, if you are not on Pinterest, definitely your competition is, right? It is all, if your target is moms or women, it is all moms and women over on Pinterest, and they are used to clicking. They are used to clicking on that pin to get the recipe, to get the printable, and every single pin is clickable. So that's what's really great. If you have a bunch of, blogs especially, right? It's a great place to drive traffic from Pinterest to your website. So that's just a little side note, right? But Instagram, definitely I encourage you to use the links in your profile and the links in your highlights. That's really about the only place that's clickable. But it's really hard to get clients from Instagram, right? If you've noticed, it's hard to get anyone to do anything. Tell me in the comments how hard it is to get anyone to do anything, right? I just think it's a challenge, right? Humans are funny, and notice your own habits, right? We're scrolling, we're maybe liking. Very rarely are we actually going to people's profiles and clicking that link in profile, right? For the most part, we're kind of mindless. If you think about your own habits, one as a consumer versus you as a business owner, they're very different, right? Obviously. So as a consumer, we're just scrolling, maybe liking, and we're gone. So if someone even likes your post, they may never see another post again, right? How frustrating is that, right? So, and then as a business owner, right, we are probably doing a bunch of different things, but wondering why nobody is liking our stuff. So here is, I think, the best way, number one trick to Instagram. I think it is best utilized for finding your target audience. So if you have a low follower account, if you're wanting to grow your Instagram followers, the quickest way is to start following people, right? You've probably noticed this. If you follow people, they will follow you back. But you want to be strategic about this, right? Whoever your target audience is, that's who you should follow, right? I would always say one trick that we used at the bike shop, right? And if you are looking for local traffic, if your target audience is in a specific area, definitely go to other businesses in that area that have a high following and start following their followers, right? It's a little tricky, but I mean, right there, it's there. And that's what I love about Instagram, is that it is so easy to fine tune your followers, right? On Facebook, it's much less hard. It's much harder to follow the right people and get them to follow you back, right? As a business page, especially, you're not, you just don't have control, I don't think, as well as Instagram. On Instagram, you can really target who you're following and hope that they will follow you back. And most people will, but you know, even if some don't, it's totally fine. We're all here for, you know, volume and kindness, right? It's okay to be a kind human. And if someone doesn't follow you back, my gosh, right? That's not what we're keeping track of. So anyway, and the unfollows, right? I think it's really, I hate the idea of unfollowing. There are so many, there's such a, I think, old school of thought that the quickest way to grow your account is to follow people and then unfollow them. To me, I think that's terrible, right? Because as business owners, we're using that follow to follow back. And then if you unfollow, like, they're following you back and then you're unfollowing. So anyway, I think that's a terrible, tell me below, right? What is your thought on unfollowing? I think that is just not a nice way to play, right? I have recently discovered that your max amount of follows is 7,500. So if you're already at the max, right, you're gonna have to start unfollowing, but most of us take years, right? It took me years to get to that 7,500 following, the number of people that I was following. So of course you have to start unfollowing, right? But at the beginning, I mean, my gosh, if you're unfollowing, I just think that's not very nice. But you wanna be really strategic about who you are following. You wanna follow your target audience, obviously. And I think the best way to get likes and comments is to like and comment, right? I know that sounds fairly obvious, but right, it's not always obvious, but definitely if you're wanting to target a certain audience, right, which all of us should probably have a well-defined audience, you want to really be interacting with those types of accounts. So if you're finding that in your feed, in your Instagram feed, if it's suggesting a lot of people that you don't want to be marketing to, then you need to work on your feed, right? So if you had used it for personal reasons before, and maybe you have a lot of, right, dog or cat videos, which I'm guilty of all the time. My TikTok account is full of dog videos, so I know I need to work on that. But on Instagram, right, what I love about Instagram is once you get to a point, it shows me, all I have to do is scroll through my feed and it shows me exactly my target audience. It shows me the people that I'm following and it will suggest other accounts similar. So that's what I love. So it makes it really easy to find new target audience, people to follow, start interacting with them, and hopefully it's people that you want to interact with, right? If it's your customer and target audience, they're accounts that you like and you can easily comment, like, right, interact so that hopefully they will genuinely interact with your account. So that's definitely tip number one, right, is to follow your target audience on Instagram, like, comment on their accounts, and hope that they will do the same for you. That's the best way to get more likes and comments. Start liking and commenting, definitely. Tell me below, right? Does that resonate with you? Do you feel like that is something you've already tried, and is that working, or is it not working, or is that something new for you? I would love to hear below how you feel about that. Okay, number 2. So this is where I get a lot of pushback, right? Number 2, I think this really took me a lot of years, right? And I don't want it to take you as many years as it took me to think about this. If someone has liked or commented on your stuff, I think that is an open door for a DM. I know a lot of people feel weird about the DMs, right? Tell me in the comments, how do you feel about DMs on Instagram? It took me a while, right? Because I got a lot of spam in my direct messages. And none of us want to be that spammer. We don't want to be salesy. We don't want to be spammy, right? We don't want to do it. So I think a lot of us at the beginning kind of stay away from the DMs. I did, for sure. But if you want to, instead of being passive, right? I feel like it's a really passive approach. And I unfortunately was in this mindset for a lot of years that I was just posting and hoping. But if you want to take it to that next level, that is really where I think the DMs come in. Go where your audience is. Go to them. Start the conversation, right? If you can see that they are in your target audience, I don't think there's anything wrong with starting a genuine conversation. It doesn't have to be right off the bat, hey, do you want to buy this? Right? That's salesy and a little spammy, right? Or even if you're asking for a follow, right? You can ask for a follow, but I think it's kinder to, reach out to them in a really genuine way. I saw you were posting about this and I really liked it. Or I saw that you were interested in my XYZ. Or I saw that you liked my quote on Monday's motivation, right? Whatever it is, just be genuine and start the conversation. Many people may never respond, right? And I think that's okay, right? But if you get in the habit of DMing people in your target audience and people who have interacted with your account, I think that is a far quicker way to get actual results. Get people into your system. Start these relationships. Start these conversations, right? If you're wanting to be a coach, you want to be in front of people and you want to be having those conversations. You want to build genuine relationships with people in your target audience. And Instagram is such a great tool to do that. Again, it's hard to get anyone to do anything. It's hard to get people to click or, get them to go anywhere once they're on Instagram, right? Nobody really likes to get off Instagram. However, in the DMs, you can really use this, and we talked all about this in the challenge last week. You can use it to invite them to your Facebook group. I think that is one of the greatest ways to get people into your Facebook group. Find them on Instagram because you can really easily check them out, and then send them a DM. Hey, I saw that you were posting about this. We're talking all about this over in my Facebook group. It's just a free resource. We're sharing tips and having great support and conversation. We'd love to have you, right? I think it's a really neutral invitation to invite people to your Facebook group from Instagram because it's not salesy, right? I don't think it's salesy. Tell me what you think, right? Does that sound like something that you could do, or is it something that you're already doing? Because I really think Instagram is about using the DMs and getting them into your system. Because like we said, if they're just scrolling and liking, they are gone. They may never see another one of your posts. So you don't have their email, you don't know who they are, you don't know, anything about them. And again, they might never see you again. So to capture them, and if they are in your target audience, to get them into your world, to start warming them up to your system, that's the goal. And I would call that a lead. Once they are into your system, that is a lead. If they are just following your Instagram account, I would not call that a lead, right? That's just a follower. You don't need any more followers. Followers are nice, but you really need leads to your business. You've probably got enough followers, you need leads. You need people who are actually interested, signing up for your stuff over in your Facebook group, getting to your website and buying your things. That's what you need, right? Or on that email list, that's where also you can warm them up to your system and into your program and get them, interacting with your business in that way as well. But in order to get them into that email list, you've got to have a system to do that. And if the only place for them to do that is the link on your Instagram profile, you might be waiting quite a long time, right? You might get some, that's great. And if you're getting direct people to click from your Instagram account, that's amazing. But it will be far quicker using Facebook groups and those 3 questions, right? So we talked all about that in the challenge, but if you have questions getting people into your Facebook group, that's where you can ask for that email. So if you have questions about that, you can always just let me know or reach out to me. Okay, so that is the second trick to Instagram is DMs. Definitely utilize the DMs in order to turn followers from Instagram into Facebook group members, right? And that turns them into leads. Once they've signed into your Facebook group and given their email address, that is a warm lead. They've said yes, right? They've joined your group for whatever reason. If they are in your target audience, they might not have said yes to your freebie, but if they wanted the email list or whatever, right? They are interested. So I would call that a warm lead once they are into your Facebook group. Okay, the third trick to Instagram, like we talked about, is it's really hard to get anyone to do anything, to click. So I really think using calls to action, right? Using a strong call to action. And I know I can work on this as well, but I will often just say yes below, right? But just about every video that I do on Instagram now, I have some type of call to action, because it's really hard, I think, for people to interact with you on Instagram unless they're told what to do, right? Ask for what you want, be direct. I think as women, right, that's a little bit harder, especially as business owners. It's hard for us to be direct with what we need from them. But your customer wants it to be easy. They don't know how to interact with your business. Tell them, right? Say yes below if you want this. If you agree, say yes, or drop an emoji, or you know what I mean? Like, tell them what to do in your video, in your post, in whatever you're doing. Use a quick call to action to tell people what to do with your business. It's hard, right? Tell me, are you using calls to action? How do you feel about that? I would love to hear from you. Cool. Okay. The fourth trick to Instagram, right? I think Michalina was asking about this when she voted on the Instagram topic for today. She was asking about hashtags, and she said, are hashtags dead, right? Tell me, do you think hashtags are dead? I do not, right? I think hashtags kind of go in waves where people are all about them, not so much about them, whatever. But Instagram, if you notice, if you're typing a post or when you're searching, you can search for hashtags, you will see how much those hashtags are used, certain ones. It'll tell you the count of the hashtag. And I've heard different schools of thought, right? It's good to use a little mix of some really popular hashtags and maybe some not so popular hashtags, right? So a good mix of whatever works for your industry. But I do not think hashtags are dead, right? I think they can, I think maybe some people put too much stock in them and maybe overuse them. But I think far more people are underusing them, because we probably don't really know how to use them, right? But what is great is that you can search for hashtags in Instagram, obviously, and it'll show you all the posts that are including those hashtags. So imagine as a consumer, or maybe you already do this as a consumer, right? If you're searching for topics on, Instagram tricks or business coaching, or, right, you'd probably look in the search. And then Instagram will suggest either hashtags or accounts or, whatever. So if you are wanting to show up in searches, I think hashtags are a great way to do that. And I think hashtags are good to use on Pinterest and on Facebook. On Facebook, they are clickable, right? I don't know if you've noticed, but you can click on a hashtag and it will pop up your search menu and show you different posts on that topic. So that's kind of handy, right? If you want to show up in people's searches, definitely think about using hashtags. And I think hashtags are a great, or Instagram is a great way to generate hashtags and search for ones, right? Because it just has a nice, I think, user face to look for hashtags, and it'll suggest, right, different hashtags. And I think you can still follow hashtags. I think I've heard that they're changing that you can't follow hashtags anymore, but definitely tell me if you have seen different thoughts or read anything about that. But I would say for now, right, use hashtags wherever you can, and use them, sparingly. You don't have to use the max 30 on every post, but experiment, right? See what works. And definitely one of the tricks, right, that I keep hearing from different coaches is see what's going viral, right? Look at your Instagram, whatever is going viral on your Instagram account, in your Instagram feed, check that out, right? Are they using hashtags? What format are they using? Are they using a long format? Are they using a short format? Are they using a call to action? What's working, right? That's always a nice way to check out, see what's working and what's not working. So that is our 4 tips for today, 4 tricks for Instagram. Tell me if any of those jumped out at you. I would love to hear if you felt like one of these is something that you're gonna try, or if you've already tried them and not sure how to apply it to your business, definitely feel free to ask me. If you feel like you are needing help with a DM script, right? Sometimes that is a really scary point for people, to reach out directly to people. That feels direct, right? That feels scary to go to where your customers are. But again, I've said, right, if you're just sitting passively hoping for people to see your stuff and take action, it's gonna be a long wait, and I don't want that for you, right? I don't want you to waste years like I did waiting for customers, right? That is a terrible place to be because it's a long wait, right? There are so many other effective strategies than just posting and hoping, right? So if you are ready to get out of that cycle, if that's where you feel like you've been and you want to talk, you can always say strategy below. I would love to reach out to you and talk about what your current strategies are, and I can always suggest some other strategies that might work better, even free strategies, right? I'm always available for that free social media audit. You can always reach out, and I'm happy to schedule that with any of you in the Facebook group. All right, so if you are not getting 5 to 10 qualified leads into your Facebook group every single day, we need to talk, right? Your Facebook group is your gold mine. If you have a Facebook group as a coach and it's not growing or it's not turning into leads for you, we need to talk, because there are some small tweaks that you can make that will turn your Facebook group into your perfect lead generation tool. So I would love to help with that. If that's something that you're interested in, again, just say strategy below and I will reach out to you. All right, that is it for today. Thanks so much for sticking around. We'll see you in the next